Golden Stories, where reality gets twisted and arrogance meets its collapse. Tonight's story, The Arrest, A Night of Arrogance. If you're new here, buckle up. And if you're enjoying this, don't forget to like and subscribe, because this one will sting. It started on a Friday night under the buzzing neon of a gas station sign. A black man filled his car, calm, minding his business, humming an old tune that made him smile. Suddenly, headlights cut through the lot and two patrol cars rolled in like wolves circling prey. Out jumped two officers, one chewing gum with the confidence of a man who thought the world owed him respect, the other strutting like he was in a cowboy movie. "Hands where I can see them," one barked, already gripping his baton like a prop he couldn't wait to use. The man blinked, confused, glancing at the pump still in his hand. "For pumping gas?" he asked, his voice steady, laced with a mix of disbelief and sarcasm. "Don't get smart, boy," the gum chewer snapped, smirking as if he'd scored points in a game no one else was playing. They didn't see a professional. They didn't see a man. They saw a caricature they'd already written in their heads. They searched his pockets, yanked his arms behind his back, and laughed while they cuffed him. The taller cop whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, "Another thug off the streets. Probably stole that car, too." A small crowd gathered, some filming, others whispering. One teenager chuckled, "Man, he was just buying chips." The man said nothing, his silence thicker than their insults, his gaze piercing through their arrogance. They thought they'd humiliated him. They thought the night was theirs. But the universe? It had a plot twist they could never dream of. If you're enjoying this story so far, smash that like button and subscribe, because the heat is only beginning. The man sat in the back of the squad car, wrists aching, head turned toward the window as neon lights blurred past. The officers kept cracking jokes up front like it was open mic night. "Bet he don't even have insurance," one sneered. "Nah, bet he don't even have a job. Probably just got done hustling," the other replied, laughing so hard he slapped the dashboard. They weren't protecting anyone. They were putting on a show for themselves. At the station, they dragged him out, shoved him into a chair, and tossed paperwork across the table like they were judges, jury, and executioners all at once. The taller one leaned in, chewing his gum louder than before. "You're not going to smile your way out of this, boy. Might as well confess." The man didn't flinch. His silence cut sharper than any words. That only made them angrier. One slapped the table and shouted, "Speak up! Cat got your tongue?" The other officer laughed and muttered, "Nah, he knows he's cooked. These people always are." They scribbled fake notes, building a story out of thin air, convinced no one would question it. In their arrogance, they forgot one thing: every lie has an expiration date. The man finally spoke, voice calm, steady, almost mocking. "Careful. Everything you write tonight, you'll have to explain tomorrow." They laughed again, shaking their heads, not realizing the weight of what he'd just said. If you're hooked, hit that like and subscribe, because the storm hasn't even started. Morning came. The officers strutted into the courthouse like roosters in uniform, puffed up, convinced they had another easy win. They bragged in the hallway about cleaning up the streets and teaching punks a lesson. One even winked at a secretary, boasting, "Wait till you hear how we bagged that one last night." But the smugness drained the second the bailiff called the room to order. The door behind the bench opened, and in walked the very man they'd dragged, cuffed, mocked, and paraded. Not in chains, not in rags. He wore black robes that swallowed the room in authority. His steps were measured, his eyes steady, his silence now a gavel in itself. The officers froze, their jaws unhinged. Gum Chewer nearly swallowed his own pride. The tall one's face drained of color like someone had pulled the plug on his arrogance. Whispers rippled through the courtroom as people realized what they were seeing. He sat down high above them, the gavel in his hand resting easy, almost playful. "Let's begin," he said, his voice smooth, echoing against the wood. It wasn't loud, but it shook them more than a scream. Every word they'd written in those fake notes, every insult they had tossed so carelessly, now felt like a rope tightening around their own necks. And this was only the start of their unraveling. The courtroom buzzed like a hive. Every seat was packed, phones ready, whispers running wild. The two officers sat stiff, shoulders heavy, trying to look composed, but their eyes told on them. They weren't hunters anymore. They were prey, trapped under the gaze of the man they thought they had destroyed. The judge adjusted his robe, leaned forward, and began reading their report. Each line dripped with arrogance and lies. Suspicious behavior at a gas station, probable theft, matched the description of a thug. He stopped, looked up, and let the words choke them. A thug? For fueling his car? His voice was calm, but each syllable struck like a whip. The gallery erupted in gasps, a few chuckles even. One old man in the back muttered, "Lord, have mercy," while a teenager snickered. They cooked themselves. Phones captured every second, flashing lights reflecting off sweat dripping from the officers' foreheads. The gum chewer stammered, We were only doing our job." The judge tilted his head, smiling with razor-sharp sarcasm. "Your job or your hobby?" The taller officer tried to interject, but only managed a pitiful croak. The judge slammed the gavel once, the sound cracking through the chamber like thunder. "This court does not tolerate lies, prejudice, or manufactured justice. You abused your badge, and now you face consequences." The humiliation was complete. What began as arrogance at a gas station ended with disgrace in front of the world. The men who thought they held power were stripped bare, their downfall immortalized forever. This is Golden Stories. If this story shook you, like, comment, and subscribe, because arrogance always has an ending.